Hello and welcome to another Starting Grid. I'm Ian Garty. Coming up in tonight's action-packed programme, we revisit the university motor racing team, show you how to get into the competitive world of car design and distinguish between a dud and a deal when it comes to buying your new car. But first, let's revisit Paul Jackson and see how he's getting on in the adrenaline-filled world of drag racing.
Told now by the commentator it's it's tipping down with rain at the top end of the track. An absolute nightmare. It's forecast a complete heat wave for this weekend. It's absolutely typical. But if you start coming along like more than once or twice a year, you'll find out that the racetracks have got their own weather system. You've got a cloud that actually comes round, doesn't it, Dan? You get to blooming Avon Park, any of them, you've got a cloud that just follows you around all day. It's a nightmare. What can you do?
The show must go on, and although Paul is waiting in the wings, this doesn't stop the Beetle cars and other drivers from entertaining the crowds. While the team waits for the green light, one driver decides to take a different kind of risk with his future.
Shh, come over here, I've got something to tell you. Apparently what's happening is one of the lads that's a friend of my dad's, he wants to get married. It's a sad old bastard, but he's going to borrow my dad's car, good to do a run. And on the start line he's going to jump out, get on the microphone, the commentator's in on it and everything. His missus had to be quiet in case she's about. His missus is going to be in the stands and he's going to propose to her live on the track, so that'll be a good crap, so just keep your eye out for that. What a nightmare. The weather's terrible and they're not letting us on with the six, which is a real big disappointment. This is the biggest meeting of the year by far. You've got 30,000 people here. We want to show off as such and we can't go and do it. It's just an all-out nightmare. But hopefully it'll clear up and we'll get there. We'll go and have some fun. Someone's having fun anyway.
So what can you do now? Just wait?
We'll sit there and wait. We've got the car back in the awning and I'll just sit in the car, just concentrate and just get myself in my own little world. And you get round there and it's just good fun. You ignore the people and that when you're on the run because you've got a lot to do with the car, a lot of gauges to look at. You don't really take it into account, but you do get the buzz out of it as you're going down the track. You think it's just brilliant. Typical English weather, isn't it? Well, it's an American-based sport. In America, you can go every blooming weekend. The race until 12 o'clock at night, no problem. But there's not many facilities. It's only a little country. All the tracks are based around like airport runways, like World War II runways and stuff. Like this Santa Pod, that's how it was all developed in the 60s. It's just a nightmare.
For a mover like Paul, the worst place to be is in limbo. His mind, like his dragster's engine, needs to be active. As the dark clouds retreat, the safety officials are quick to give the go-ahead. It's time to race.
A couple of weeks ago on Starting Grid, Glenda McKay introduced you to the Michelin Championships, where anyone can take part to win a fully sponsored year in motor racing. The only snag is that you need £200 and a free day. Well, we've caught up with some of the drivers taking part in the final of this year's contest.
I was searching on the internet and I came across the website and it was looking for possible racing drivers who could earn a winning drive. I've been racing in South Africa 5 years ago, emigrated to England, and I raced last year in the Mighty Mini Series. I'm certainly not the best person out there. There are a lot of people better than me, but I'm extremely happy to be this far, and to get this far I'm going to just drive, be myself.
I'd heard about it last year when we did the Vectras, and then I want to do the Clios this year, so I thought, well, I'll have a go. Race Fiestas for about 6 years. You know, I've got racing knowledge as such, but you know, there's lads who were here yesterday who raced with me, and they didn't get through. So, you know, I'm lucky really, I suppose. Just got to try and prove your driving skills at the end of the day.
It was in the one of the national newspapers, and it was a competition, and a prize. First prize was to be entered into the scholarship, which I didn't win, so I paid into it anyway. Been interested in racing for years. I wanted to get into it, and this just came up at the right time. So up until yesterday, I'd never been on a circuit. I was very surprised to qualify because, as I said, I've never been on a circuit before. No experience at all. And then I came to the pre-final yesterday, and it went okay. Very, very, very surprised to come today, but this morning went well. Obviously, I'd love to race for Tim Sugden Racing in the Clio Cup this year, and then see how it goes. Maybe move on. If I don't win, then I'm going to look at financing a low-budget season, doing something else, hopefully.
At the moment I'm a self-employed van driver, got my own van, just deliver parcels all day around Kent, looking top line touring cars, sports car type racing hopefully in the future. Yeah. I don't expect to be Formula 1. But I raced once at Alton Park, that was in a Formula Ford, and apart from that just go-kart racing, so I haven't really had much proper experience on big tracks. Well, I've been in the final before in '97, so I know I've got what it takes, it's just getting it right on the day. I know how easy it is to get it wrong.
In previous weeks, we've shown you how to get into different aspects of the car industry. One thing you may take for granted is the way a car looks. Let's see how you can get a foot in the door in the competitive world of car design.
We've had several preliminary visits from household name companies who have been to look at the students with their work in progress. Some of them are back here tonight to see how that work turned out.
It's designed basically to travel the world, so it's designed to be the ultimate off-roader. Take a three-man crew with this United Earth Foundation, which is similar to a well-funded Greenpeace organisation. Oh yeah. So it can't be a sort of freelander. It's got to be able to handle every terrain that you could possibly put it, from water to the most extreme temperatures.
Right, this looks familiar. Hi Tom.
Hello there.
Now, I believe you're responsible for this vehicle. What's the inspiration behind it?
Well, there were two sort of themes going on. My research report was about new technology and especially automated highways, and I just took that a little bit further by thinking, how could I change the interior and exterior of a vehicle to sort of take the best opportunity of that technology? So the interior features seats which actually swivel in the front, and so four people can face each other, and it's a far more socially interactive sort of environment. The exterior, I went for more personalisation, whilst also looking at Audi design themes.
I've noticed there are one or two very good people, and a couple of people that I've spoken to are coming from design in a slightly different perspective, which I think is very important.
This is a vehicle for the ever-increasing population of people using their vehicle as a mobile workplace and as an office. So what I decided to do was, because standard cars aren't adequate enough for vehicles, I decided to produce an interior which could accommodate the mobile worker and then convert back into a standard car easily. I'll use the rear boot space here. I have this work surface at the back of the vehicle, which can actually slide down and back. So then the two rear seats can slide to the rear boot space of the vehicle, maximising the interior space.
I think there's a freshness without naivety. That's what I really like about this. There's a sophistication in some of this stuff which has opened my eyes, quite frankly. It's really good, very good indeed.
So if that's whet your appetite for designing cars, then check out the universities of Huddersfield, Newcastle or Coventry, who all do courses in car design. Or if you're seriously clever, try the Royal College of Art. If uni's not your scene, then try the car companies themselves, because a lot of them run their own training schemes. It's time to take a break, but coming up in part 2, we revisit the university motor racing team. We give you advice on what to look out for when buying a new car, and I continue my Pass Plus course. Stay tuned and we'll see you in part 2. Welcome back to part 2 of Starting Grid. It's time to head straight off and revisit the university motorsport team. This week we meet the driver and see what sacrifices he has to make in order to race. In the last 2 shows we introduced you to the university race team and explained to you what Formula Ford is. All that's left now is to meet the driver who will be joining the university team in their quest for victory. Let's hope they don't corrupt him with early morning warmed up pizza.
Hiya, my name's Guarin Simpson. I'm a racing driver with the University of Central Lancashire race team. We're standing here in Tynemouth at the moment, which is a couple of miles away from my home in North Shields. I started racing karts when I was 12 years old, and since then I've moved up into single-seater race cars, and I'm now racing with the university team in the Northwest Formula Ford Championship. In 1997 I won the Alf Fast Track competition, which gave me years racing in France, fully paid for. And I was based in Le Mans at the famous Bugatti circuit and studied at La Filière. I competed in the French Formula Campus Championships. I won 1 race, had 1 pole position and finished 9th overall in the French Championship. To win the Alf Fast Track competition, I took part in a competition held at Silverstone, which was over 3 days initially. We drove saloon cars, we drove single-seaters, we did kart racing, and we also drove skid cars. A selection of us were invited back for a final, in which we drove the Renault Campus cars, purely and simply time trials. Fastest drivers won. I saw an advert in the BRSCC magazine advertising for a driver for the University of Central Lancashire. I rang up and spoke to Ewan Baldry. I then came along and met the team, and luckily enough they picked me to drive the car. It was good meeting the team because they were really enthusiastic about it. They really wanted to go and do it. They're not in it to make any money or anything, they're purely enthusiasts. It's good because everybody is learning together. Nobody knows everything. We all contribute towards the team, and everybody's an expert in their own field, and once it's all put together we're doing all right. The fact that I have to pay for any damage I cause is in my mind a little bit before the race and also after the race, but while I'm in the car and racing you can't think of things like that. Ambition's really to go on and win the Northwest Formula Ford Championship this year. Afterwards, just like to go on motor racing and turn professional. Getting to drive with a race team isn't the hardest part. The hardest part is getting some sponsorship. It's a vicious circle. Unless you've got a name, you can't attract a sponsor. Without a sponsor, you can't make a name for yourself.
Oi, get away from that flaming ute, little... g'day. Welcome to the Australian Outback. I'm Bob Darwin, this is my mate Chip.
Woo, how you doing, y'all?
All the way from New York, and boy, is it hot. Cheers, babe.
Like a pig, mate.
Earlier on Starting Grid, we saw an in-depth look into the world of car design. Well, today, me and Chip are going to show you how to do it.
Oh, that's right. That's right, boy, because normally you have the 2 boys from Liverpool, but they have to take a vacation, you know what I mean?
That's right, Lara and Lara have gone on holiday. Now, year 2001, we've got computers and CAD, computer-aided design. Fantastic 3D graphics packages, stuff that NASA uses to create the perfect looking automobile. Whoa, she's beautiful. And maybe you're like me and just use your computer for looking at the Sheilas. Lovely. But what if you don't know the first thing about computers? Well, Chip, it's over to you, mate.
Woohoo! So well, boy. But what you do is you get some wood, you get bread knife, and you go like, and you go like the clappers. I like this bit now.
That's right. You've got to whittle like your life depends on it. Look at him go there. Carefully shaving the bits of wood like any trained craftsman, sort of thing that you do to exist in New York. What he's actually doing now, having finally decided on the design, making the finishing touches, the bits that are really going to sell the essence of the vehicle. That's right, Chip. Well, it sure is still hot here in the outback, but not to worry because old Chip boy, he's finished the design.
Woo! That is one nice automobile.
I like that, mate.
Now's the name.
Can't help you with the name, but I tell you what, it sure looks smart.
Woo!
I think you'll agree that's a fantastic car design. All that's left to do now is sell the little fella. Hello, is that Big John Blue? Great, I got Chip on the phone. He designed a car. Sell it to him, mate.
Woo! I got one fine automobile here. Why, $1 million. You will?
We bought it? Yeah? Fantastic.
Woo.
So there you have it.
Damn.
Invest billions of dollars in computer technology or knock one together on the Barbie. What do you say, Chip?
We just show these kids how to do things on the cheap, boy.
There
on
you
the
go.
cheap.
You been working out there, Chip?
Hello and welcome to your weekly guide to finding your first set of wheels. We've already looked at where and what to buy, but what kinds of things should you look out for to make sure that you aren't sold a pup? If you don't know your cars, it's essential a friend who does helps you to look around and is with you on a test drive. But since this is Men and Motors, let's assume you know your stuff. So let's get technical. First of all, don't rush when inspecting the bodywork. If the seller hassles you, they may have something to hide. In daylight and when it's dry, go over every panel and check the shut lines, sills and hinges. Here's a tip to see if the car's been repainted or has a murky past. Open a door and pull out a rubber plug or seal. What colour's the paint behind? Plus, if you look under the bumpers or grills and discover paint runs, this may mean a dodgy paint job disguising a dodgy motor. Obviously, hunt around for filler and the dreaded rust, and poke around as much as you like till you're satisfied the car for its age is a decent example. The speedo is a key area to check. Has the car had what's called in the trade a haircut? Is that mileage correct? Check the service book and MOT certificates for mileage discrepancies. If you're in any doubt, walk away. What about colour? Very important when it comes to sell on. Red, blue and cheerful colours are more desirable than your browns and greys. Avoid white, this colour's for commercials. What about the engine? Use your ears. Any clattering and clanking noises will tell you all is not well. There are plenty of things to look for under the bonnet. If the engine maintenance is not your forte, genuine service stamps or receipts will tell you what's been looked after. Next week, the tedious but important subjects of finance and insurance, and how to save yourself a packet. Last week you saw my poor attempt of country road driving. This week Craig and I took to the dual carriageways for the third stage of my Pass Plus advanced driving course. Let's see how I got on. So in today's lesson we're covering dual carriageway driving.
That's right, yes.
What are the main topics we're covering this afternoon?
Well, we're going to be working on effective observation, making sure that you're aware of what's well ahead and well behind. Using your mirrors effectively, checking your blind spots as well to the rear of the car. Going to be working on your judgment and planning on dual carriageways as well, joining from slip roads, adjusting your speed to fit in with the traffic when you're entering a dual carriageway and leaving safely as well. One of the most important points with dual carriageways or any faster roads is safe separation distance between you and the cars in front and behind as well. So we'll be doing some work on that. Okay.
What are the main differences of driving on, say, dual carriageway compared to the main high street driving through a town or city centre?
Well, it's obvious that there are far less hazards on a road like this, but obviously because of the faster speeds, if you are involved in an accident, it's much more likely to be a serious one. So it's very important that you work on scanning the road ahead and behind all the time, being aware of what's all around the car. So I want you to use your mirrors early, and more frequently than you would do normally, so that you're keeping an overall picture of what's happening all the way around the car. Now, as far as separation, safe separation distances between you and the car in front, we're going to be applying today the 2-second time gap, or the 2-second rule. Do you know what that means?
Yes, so the gap in front, 2-second gap between you and the vehicle in front.
That's right. And do you know how to measure that? No,
you should pick an object at the side of the road, say a signpost or a bus stop.
That's good, yes. Should we try it?
Okay.
So when the car in front passes a landmark such as a lamppost, I like you to say slowly, only a fool breaks the 2-second rule.
Okay. Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule.
And you can see that we haven't passed that by the time you finish saying that, so it is a safe gap in front. I wonder what you'd do if you were being followed very closely on a faster road by a vehicle. What could you do about that?
Yourself?
Yes.
I'd keep to the speed limit myself.
You would, yes.
Not be pushed on.
No. What if you were below the speed limit? Would you speed up to try to get away?
Only again if it was safe to do so in front.
What would the driver behind do though?
Probably follow me.
So it become even more hazardous. So certainly don't increase your speed. Maybe think about dropping the speed down so that you can increase the gap between you and the car in front. Why would that help?
Safer stopping distance for myself.
Excellent, yes. You can see more of the road ahead and you would have more time to warn the driver behind that you were coming to a stop. I don't know whether you've noticed a couple of signs we've just passed. Have you noticed the white circle with the black stripe?
Right. No.
No? Missed that. Okay. Now you'll see some smaller signs a little bit further up. Can you see that on the left?
Yes.
So you've got the white circle with the black stripe. Do you know what that sign means?
National speed limit.
Excellent, yes. So what's that on a dual carriageway?
60.
No.
Is it 70?
It's 70 miles an hour,
Okay.
same as an motorway. Yeah.
Well, that didn't go as well as I'd planned. Even with the help of my 3 stooges in the back, I still managed to fail the dual carriageway section of my advanced driving course. Never mind, life goes on. Join me next week for the 4th part of our adventure. On the show next week, we meet up with a 16-year-old who's climbing his way towards Formula 1 racing. We meet up with Paul Jackson and the university racing team on their test session, and we give you advice on the I factor when it comes to buying your new car. Insurance. See you next week.